We passed a bill last March, a little bit over a year ago, the American Rescue Plan. First Saturday in March, we passed it. That was a massive and far-reaching, and in my view, very, very positive piece of legislation that accomplished the objectives that David said. It did many things, but one objective was to dramatically reduce the youth poverty rate. It's not a good sign in a nation where the youth poverty rate is double the adult poverty rate. That's not a good sign. You know, that's not a good sign. That is significantly the case in the United States. And so we did a child tax credit that was a refundable tax credit for families with kids of low and moderate income. And it dramatically, by 30% in 1 year, reduced the youth poverty rate in the United States. But when we did the bill, the only way we could get 50 votes on that bill was to have it as a program that went through the end of the calendar year, December, and then expired. And that put pressure on our shoulders to, okay, it's going to expire at the end of December. Can we find a path forward to continue it? And the answer was we couldn't. We have one colleague, a colleague I know very, very well, Senator Manchin, who thinks it encourages dependency. Basically, that's his argument, and so he is against it. We've gone to him and said, hey, we don't mind putting we're not interested in encouraging dependency. We're interested in reducing poverty. And so we can put guardrails up around it and have checks as in other federal programs. Thus far, we have not been able to convince him to get on board with the extension of the child tax credit. But we're not stopping. So this budget reconciliation vehicle, where if we could get all Democrats on board, and why all Democrats? Republicans have, even though there are many pieces in the bill that they like, so when we passed the American Rescue Plan, it passed by one vote. It passed by one vote. Every Republican voted against it, even though there were many pieces in it that they liked. And their argument was sort of, okay, that's right, you guys can do it if you want. We did our bill, the tax cut bill in 2017, by one vote too. It was all Republicans and Democrats against it, so these programs are your priorities, not ours, and even if there are pieces of it they don't like the size of it, they don't like other aspects of it. And we will get 0 votes on the Republican side, 0, on the version that we're working on now. But what we're trying to do is see from grand ideas that some of us have, what could we do that is really core, really, really core, that would help accomplish the goals, David, that you mentioned. And this would be extremely helpful. The good news is those of you in Richmond don't have to lean on Warner and me too hard, because we're very much engaged trying to get this done. But from other states, if you have ties in West Virginia, if you have ties in Arizona, or any other state, because what we need to do is take a bill that was proposed at a size and find the core of it that will do the most good. As a member of the HELP committee, the things that I'm working on the most are early childhood education. Because if you think about what really hits people's pocketbook, if we could do universal pre-kindergarten for every 3- and 4-year-old in this country, universally available and free, like kindergarten is free, may not be mandatory, like you have to have your 3- and 4-year-old in the program, but it should be free, like kindergarten is free. Kindergarten was established before we understood the brain development, how much of it happens before age 5. So why don't we take advantage of what we know about the brain, move it earlier, do universal pre-K, and then also provide significant assistance for childcare, whether it's public, private, church-based, faith-based, run by a Head Start, run by a YM or WCA, run by a Boys or Girls Club. Let's do something. I live in Richmond. My kids are 32, 30, and 26, but I can remember what child care cost when they were little ones. And I've talked to my staffers like Gaston about what child care costs in Northern Virginia right now. You have a child care facility here with a long waiting list of people who want to be in this facility because of the quality, but the cost of it just makes it unsustainable for so many families. So as we're grappling with inflation, if we could do something on the child care front that would really, really help people, if we could, in the core of this bill, do something to bring down the cost of prescription drugs, maybe bring down the cost of health care premiums. We did subsidies for health care premiums under the Affordable Care Act, but that is also scheduled to expire at the end of September unless we find an extension. So I would love to put together a Build Back Better bill, a reconciliation bill that would be child care, prescription drugs, and health care subsidies. Those are 3 big ticket items for most families. If we can't get Senator Manchin on the child tax credit extension, some of these first three things would help the same families who would benefit by that.